You are listening to the Lucha Central Podcast Network. And now, LuchaCentral.com presents Masks, Mats, and Mayhem.
You see the Psycho Clown Meef, your favorite wrestler?
Dum 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 ba dum dum.
Welcome to another edition of Masks, Mats, and Mayhem. I'm your host, the Outlaw LA Red. You can find me on social media at JustinHarvey75. You can find the entire show on social media at MMMShow75. That up there is at Byron Fever. That over there, how do you do the pointing thing? That over there is at Lucha Gringo. This guy over here is from across the pond at Meefloaf. We're back. We're here to talk about some wrestling. There's all sorts of stuff going on, and I don't know what any of it is. Why don't I know what's going on this week, Byron?
You've been working, and you've been working a job where there's supposed to be two of you, and there's actually only one of you. And
no, there's two of me now. No, the other guy Hayden is awesome. In fact, I love this guy.
Oh, that's wonderful.
He's he was on Bizarre Foods for a while, and he does a bunch of stuff with Andrew Zimmern, and he's super duper sweet. So he did the episode last week in Baltimore, and now we are in my hometown of Cleveland, and we're going to do an episode of this show here that I can't really talk about because it's all top secret, and you'll just have to wait until it debuts on a streaming service. I can't.
As long as you get gyros, I'm fine.
Gyros, you mean? Euros?
We can't call them gyros here. People get excited, they're getting cash.
Oh, God. No, I don't know that I will. I'm going to get some soul food and some Cleveland treats, some Cleveland original treats this week.
Oh, hell yeah. The Cleveland Steamer. All right.
Nope, not that one. No, not doing that. But you know what? In interesting news, the river here actually did catch on fire again. Like 2 weeks ago, there was like a small oil spill or something. And yeah, it caught. Yes, Cleveland is one of the few towns in the entire world that can set water on fire.
Yeah, but you know what? You assholes got Count Chocula before we did. So fuck you.
Dude, there was 3 boxes and I got one. What?
God damn it.
What? Wait, buy all 3.
Sealed and family size, dog. Bone
dry in California. Bone dry.
Oh my God, I can't up.
Was there a per family limit on the boxes?
No, there was 3 left, but I kindly left the other 2 because I really was tempted to take at least 2, but I felt bad. Like I felt like some little kid in
Casey wants to kick you.
Could really use that
amateur move. First rule, F them kids, as Michael Jordan once said.
No mercy.
Oh man, Cleveland's a hard luck town though. People could probably use their Count Chocula here, man. It's an uplifting thing.
You should have bought the boxes and given them to a kid.
Kevin Flynn knows what I'm talking about. Maybe that box was for him.
Hey, the monster Kevin Flynn, I hope he's a fan of Monster cereal.
He better be. I mean, and honestly, if you're not a fan of Monster cereal, I kind of don't know why you're watching this podcast or listening to this podcast or whatever it is you guys do with this podcast.
We are the premium
I can't be a fan of that cereal. Podcast. I can't be because we don't have it.
What do you mean you don't have
it? Your country.
Wait a minute.
This country sucks, dick.
Wait. England is part of Western civilization, correct?
No.
What do you mean? No.
It's very
as seen by current events.
You do have airplanes and boats, right? I mean, it is across the pond, but just take a little ride across the pond and get some Monster cereal.
If you look
we can
at
order them in, but oof.
I want to direct everyone to Wikipedia where it says the cutoff point for a third world country is their availability of Monster cereal. So Meef is a third world country.
I have a question for you guys. How many of us speak Spanish?
Más o menos.
Poquito.
All right.
Yeah.
Not too bad. I was just wondering because I didn't know if you guys do like a translation version of this show or something, but we are number 4 in Mexico. That's amazing.
Hell yeah.
Cuatro. We're number cuatro.
You know why? Because of el super niño, el profesor Casey.
Oh yes, I love all of this. Okay,
as the those polls that have recently been going on, we all know it's about this guy. The face.
I couldn't tell what you were doing with your hand.
It's MMM Show's official MCM Meefloaf. That's a lot of freaking M's.
How did Meefloaf beat Jimmy? I mean, I still voted for myself in the poll.
They thought the C. They thought the C stood for. They thought C stood for a different word. Let's put it that way.
Now, do you think that putting in the you still are voting for someone else category really screwed Jim? Is that what did it? Is that what put Meef over the top?
I voted for Jim.
You voted for Jim?
Yeah, of course I did. Look at him. Jesus Christ.
He's okay.
I voted for Jim Hellwig.
Current condition.
Power of the warrior.
It's. I mean, the thing is, every time we record the show, he's like, "Sorry, I'm doing something better."
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We'll get to that when we do the wall.
The thing is all our listeners now don't know who Jim is.
Mm-hmm.
Are we even doing the Wall of Fame and the Wall of Shame today?
No, it's a collapsible segment. It's cut. We need to watch AEW in 1 hour and 45 minutes. This is a Casey's Timer episode. Hard out by 4 fucking o'clock. It is 2:15. Let's go.
Well, that's the no. The show starts at 3 hours. The pre-show starts an hour before. I have the buy-in on YouTube right now.
I don't know. I'm on East Coast time, so I'm all messed up now. I don't know.
All I know is BR Live. BR Live is telling me 4. I'm taking no chances.
Well, we record on Saturdays, of course, before the pay-per-view, and you're listening to this on like Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, or Friday of next week or something, and we have no idea how any of the things went that are super important that we probably should be talking about right now. But I do know that Thunder Rosa is a homegirl, and it did.
Oh my God.
Byron is correct that it worked last time when we didn't have anything recorded, and then Cross won and she got on TV and got her title match, and we were all super duper happy. And so let's just pretend that that's what's happening again, right?
Yeah, she had a great match on Dynamite. She looked like a fucking star on Dynamite.
Even Jim Cornette Jim Cornette was singing its praises like crazy.
Whoa, back the truck up. Jim Cornette said something nice about somebody of color.
It was amazing.
He said something nice about someone of color in AEW.
I have the show on right now.
All out. Amazing.
I mean, AEW brought in Thunder Rosa, and to promote her, to make her, have her show off, they have her wrestle someone who isn't one of their employees. I'm a proponent of the AEW women's division. They lost half of their best workers because of the COVID thing, but you bring in Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb, and it's night and day compared to any other AEW women's match. It's just
well, you could hear it in Jim Ross's voice too, to the point where he had to apologize for saying how good it was because he didn't want to be burying their whole women's division. But which was hilarious. It was like halfway out of his mouth, he's like, "Shit, I just made everybody in the locker room mad. I'm so sorry, guys."
It's probably better than some of the men's matches, I'd imagine.
Sorry, I didn't have Penelope Ford missing every spot. Sorry.
But it's also like Penelope Ford is good, but she hasn't been on TV before, really, and also like she's getting put, Brandy's getting put, other wrestlers are getting put in spots on the card they don't belong because they're recognizable personalities, and
Sheeta's not getting to do anything because she's not even. Yeah, it's so that's what concerns me about Mel. Mel is facing a champion that's barely defended the title that they seem behind. So I'm a little concerned that Mel won't win because of that.
But isn't the better story for the outsider to win and then for Sheeta to have to chase her back down? And then kick Mel out in a month or two?
When has AEW booking ever done the better story, Justin?
Britt Baker and Big Swole.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a great angle. Like, I love everything about that.
It's great. But also Britt started off bad. And they fixed it. And Dark Order started off bad, and they made adjustments, and they're working on it. And, the COVID thing happened. They had to all of a sudden film in one place for like a week to do like 2 months worth of programming. And they did a tournament that wasn't that bad. They do all right. But, just like with everything else, they have things you can critique them about. I would personally, to answer the question on the topic, I want to have a program with Thunder Rosa and Sheeta as long as possible. If you want to see what Sheeta can do for real, look up her and Marufuji's match. It's on SheetaTube. It's on her own YouTube.
I just don't feel like they're leading to a one and done kind of thing here. I don't think you invest this amount of time. You don't do this kind of level of promo stuff for it. You don't give her the big entrance package with Billy Corrigan talking that we talked about last week. Like, you just, like, if they're going to one and done her, which, by the way, would be totally fine, too. Like, just an anomaly and a couple of different promotions facing off and bringing in their champion. That's fine, too. Like, even that just gives everybody the rub. It just doesn't feel to me, because of the extra time investment, especially in packages or whatever, that this is a one and done thing. It feels like they want to make a little something more out of it. And I don't see how you do that without Thunder Rosa winning.
I say you have her win because it's reminiscent of the UWFI versus New Japan feud, which was super successful for them and super successful for WCW when they stole it for the NWO. So AEW, steal it again. It's been long enough. Put the belt on Mel so that Maki Ito can come in and beat her for 2 belts.
Well, yeah,
respect Army.
I don't want to take too much time with it because you guys already know all the results. So congratulations, Mel. I'll just say that. How about that?
Yeah,
does that work?
Congrats on the great match, no matter what happened.
Congrats. Good effort. Yeah. Also, I have a follow-up question. Who is the cutest wrestler in the world?
You don't respect Army.
Sorry.
Go ahead and say it. Say it, me.
Really want to see that rematch.
Chris Wolf?
It's Tam Nakano.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I thought he was going to say Santos Escobar.
No, he's not cute.
I thought you were setting up. I'm sorry.
Anybody know how Kevin Cross, Karrion Cross is doing?
He did not show up. I think he's in a holding pattern.
I don't think he can find Count Chocula either. I haven't asked him personally, but
I will mail him this box. That is not okay.
So there's a buy-in. The buy-in on YouTube has started.
So I've personally given Justin cereal boxes of my stash, and he left 2 boxes on the shelf. I'm just saying.
No
more seeds. No more seeds.
We should put a poll out on the Twitter for a judgment on this case. We're just to go. Well,
I'll somehow still win.
He's gonna put some in a bag and send the bag to you.
He's gonna get a bowl and fucking eat them in front of me. Is what he's gonna do.
Yeah, the whole lot. He's gonna eat the whole lot.
Or he's reenacting the Blair Witch Project. I can't tell.
Oh no, he's come with seeds.
Oh, do they have them in stores there, Justin?
Nope.
Oh, you still got to order them? That sucks, dude.
Nope. This is actually the last bag that you gave me. I forgot that I had packed it away a long time ago, and I found it in my suitcase this week. So this is how good a friend Casey is. I still have some Old Bay seeds, and I was in Baltimore when I found them. So it was like a whole week filled with just things of Old Bay in my life. Everything involved Old Bay.
So has someone tried to do Old Bay ice cream yet? Old Bay milkshake?
Yeah, I found them this week, right?
Yeah.
And then you went to that store and you saw 2 boxes on the shelf and you still didn't get them for
3 boxes. 3 boxes.
I mean, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Dude, I figured I haven't talked to Casey all week. I figured by, September 1st, Casey already has like 17 boxes of Monster.
No.
Remember what happened last year? I finally found 2 boxes like 4 weeks before Halloween, and Casey already had 5 boxes of Monster cereal at that point.
Honestly, like last year was good at the beginning, but we get fucked in Southern California because our school year starts later, and Target's the big supplier of Monster cereal, and they don't put it out until all the after school shit's gone, which is after this week, which is after Memorial Day weekend. So next week I'll probably have a shitload of it.
Yeah. Why don't you have a shed filled with it, like a hoarder, like a
bunker?
I feel like you get rats in your cereal that way. I did fill a whole shelf of the cupboard with it. Like a whole shelf.
You seal it up. You have plastic containers you put it in, or you plastic bag them.
Byron, have you ever experienced a rat? They can chew through steel.
I live in New York. I see rats every day, like the size.
No, you don't see rats. You see cows. You see like cow-sized rats.
And also, Byron's been to a lot of wrestling shows. He's seen so many rats. Oh.
Hey, look, guys. There was quite a bit of reaction to our talk of the PWI 500 last week, and its lack of credible lucha libre positioning on the list in general. But all around kind of lack of decent positioning. It was kind of an off year, especially for PWI 500. But I do want to talk a little bit about one luchador in particular who seems to be having a banner week. Your boy, Meef, with his Legado del Fantasma and HDF or Santos Escobar, whatever the heck you call him these days. That gimmick seems to be pretty hot right now, even though Swerve is getting a little bit of the comeback on it. He's getting a little heat. But how do you feel? Are they doing it right yet?
So far, again, it's getting there. I think once COVID gets it out of the way and all that kind of stuff, certain people start coming back. We can see
when is that at this point? Go. Like, I mean, he's got to get over now or never.
Yeah. It's just a case of like when the bulk of it, because he's kind of on and off TV quite a bit, if you know what I mean. Still, they're starting to put him more on 205. They seem to be quite busy there.
Well, he is the cruiserweight champion. It's kind of his show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had the big match on NXT. The 6 man.
They opened NXT.
Yeah. I mean, you look at some of their previous cruiserweight champions, and they didn't get on NXT at all. I mean, they were like purely relegated to 205. I mean, sometimes they would give them a one-off on SmackDown or someplace else back when that was not the Fox show. But I mean, he seems to be getting time in both places right now, which I think is, like the TV time is crucial. But at the same time, like, I don't think he can afford to wait until after.
I mean, just as a group, they're not really
COVID.
Taking anybody on specific, are they? If you know what I mean. They had the little Fandango feud, but that was very short. If you know what I mean. Very shortly, and then
I don't know if that's over though, because they just had the 6 man with him and Swerve really facing off. Swerve getting one up on him this past week. So there's more to get settled there, I think.
I'm just a big fan of Breezango.
You're not a big fan of Breezango?
No.
Why not?
Tremendous workers. Lance Storm trained fucking Breezy, and then you got Johnny fucking Curtis or whatever the fuck his name is.
It's that kind of
Johnny Curtis.
They can be as good as they can be, but they are now tarnished athletes in that company.
Wow.
They've got. You've gone up. You're not tarnished as the rest of them, but they've gone up and they've come down, and they don't have the same gleam.
Well, I get that, yeah. And WWE has that problem a lot of trying to get guys into top programs. And Breezango, about a year and a half, 2 years ago, was getting a ton of TV time, and then it slumped off, and now they're on NXT. So I could see how people would say that, but I think that they're a completely credible tag team. I've never not enjoyed their segments. I like their comedy bits. I think they're great wrestlers. Like, I don't know that they're necessarily top guys, but I have no issue with them holding the belts and having a run and having some TV time at all.
I think they're top guys in NXT though, and also they're making a big deal about them getting titles for the first time, which is hard to imagine. They're getting titles for the first time since
FCW.
Yeah. So
it's like 10 years.
And I
mean, Meef's just hurt because LDF doesn't have those titles, right?
No,
your boys to have all the gold.
And you guys want to talk painted?
I just think I want it more like a more it came about very quickly, and it was involving Maverick as well a little bit, and it just seemed kind of it's been bundled together. I wanted something with a bit more substance, if you know what I mean. That's what I like from it, as I need that kind of it seems like
Maverick
a fair enough
and Swerve and HDF and Legado del Fantasma and Breezango are kind of in each other's orbits right now, but they kind of have to until the rest of the NXT picture kind of works itself out a little bit. I don't know what else you do with those guys right now, but I
that's
think
disrupted as well, isn't it?
I mean, the Legado del Fantasma did nearly murder while kidnapping Breezango. That was cool. So I mean, I don't know. It is kind of, that is a good point, that they're just the long-term storylines that we used to get. And back when Breeze was, to borrow a term, one of the 4 pillars of NXT, it was him, it was Hideo back when.
And they trusted him with Liger, so that's a big thing.
Yeah, he wasn't the guy winning the matches, but he was the guy trusted to have the match with the guy who needed to win. He was one of the top guys there, you know, in that regard.
His gimmick was over, pretty over. Yeah. I don't know. If you want to talk tainted goods, it's not Breezango. It's Ricochet, who can only lose arm wrestling matches and then get the shit beat out of him. Oh, it's almost like his career's been on a downward slide since he Cero Miedo'd me that one time, and I can't be happier.
I mean,
but he's happier than ever because he's just happy to be there.
Yeah, you know how much he wanted out of his contract just to get that job, thinking, hey, if this company pushes me as their top guy, every company will.
I don't know. I think he also just wanted to work for WWE, and I certainly can see the appeal to that.
Yeah, well, now you can't have a cameo, pal. Ha!
There wasn't enough. There wasn't enough females for him to get in relationships with, and cause lots of hassle for them.
I mean, I think that's an evergreen comment about all professional wrestlers. But I also think with hockey, I know that there's a lot of Canada kids that grew up watching the Red Wings, and that's why you see a lot of guys at the end of their careers, like Brett Hull, like Mike Madonna. They finish their careers playing a few seasons trying to win the cup with the Red Wings, even though the Red Wings suck now. But you have that, and that sticks with you. And I certainly, if I were an independent wrestler right now, and I was choosing companies, I certainly see the appeal in working for WWE and just becoming, a global brand, part of a global brand, and as an individual global brand, and them doing everything for you.
The other thing you've got to do though as well with it is a case of, again, if we look at Phantasma, and you guys are all obviously praising what's gone on with him, and it has gone well so far. We'll see down the line, is all I'll say on that one. But
he's a Latino with a belt and gets mic time. That's an improvement for WWE on any day of the week.
He's doing the best.
The difference is he went in without going, I'm this. Right. I'm a superstar. He went, what do you want me to be? What do you need me to do? The world less business. You want me in this? We'll do this. This is what I can do with it. I can tell you all my ideas for it, to work with your ideas, blah. Whereas somebody other, like, I'll say a Ricochet, someone like that, he's happy to be there, as happy as he can be, but like obviously he's got that specific Ricochet style, hasn't he? Yeah. And obviously they probably wanted him for that, but it goes so far, whereas Phantasma, as we know, can change. Because he does what's needed.
And has many, many times, that's for sure. All right, look, let's go over to Denise Salcedo and Lucha Central and see what all is going on the Lucha Central Podcast Network this week. And we'll be back in a little bit to talk about the Wall of Shame and do an LU, Lucha Underground Rewind. So there's plenty more to come. Stick around.
Hey everyone, it's Denise Salcedo here in Lucha Central with a reminder of where and when to catch all of the great network content this week. Get the full lineup and listen to all of our shows in the podcast network section of luchacentral.com. Sundays on the Lucha Central Facebook page, world-traveled shooter of the camera kind, Jerry Villagrana goes mano a mano with a fellow photographer to throw down about some of their favorite photos they have taken at Lucha Libre events. Monday, Business of the Business returns as Mass Republic President Kevin Kleinrock takes you inside how your favorite Lucha Libre merchandise gets made. On Tuesdays, Mass Mats and Mayhem takes you inside the world of Lucha Underground as they take you weekly through the series with the benefit of hindsight and the benefit of special guests from the groundbreaking series. Check out the premiere video stream every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on the Lucha Central YouTube channel and at luchacentral.com. Then listen to it on your favorite podcast platform every Wednesday. Tuesday nights live, it's Wrestle Boss, where Favi Chulo talks MMA and pro wrestling with special guests and listener call-ins. Visit WrestleBossLive.com Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific to listen live or call in with questions or download the show on podcast platforms on Wednesdays. Wednesday nights live on Facebook, it's Spanish show La Mesa de los Márgaros, giving you both the news and the chisme from around the lucha world. Special guests and a whole lot of fun make it one of the most talked about shows in Mexico. Thursdays, it's Straight Out of the Bodega with Papo Esco and PWR promoter Gabriel Ramirez as they have guests from throughout the wrestling world pull up to give an inside look into their careers. From indie standouts to television superstars, each week brings a new name and perspective. On Friday, it's your double dose of Lucha Central Weekly podcast, one in English y el otro en español. Lucha Central Weekly is where you'll find all the top stories of the week, both inside and out of the ring from Mexico and anywhere luchadores are in action across the globe. Be sure to subscribe and follow all your favorite Lucha Central Network series on your favorite podcast platforms, either by their own series name or subscribe to the Lucha Central Podcast Network show pages to get all of the shows in one easy feed. And please consider giving a rating to help more fans find the shows that you love. For now, this is Denise Salcedo signing off from Lucha Central Central. Have a great week.
Did I do that better this week, guys? Like, it wasn't too creepy when I went to break or anything?
Very less creepy. I was shocked.
It was creepy.
You feeling okay?
But can I tell you guys something really, really special and fantastic?
She liked your tweet.
No, well, it doesn't matter about my tweet. It's the fact that Denise Salcedo likes donuts. Do you guys know what that does to me?
I like donuts.
Wait,
I ate 10 donuts yesterday.
The first person I thought of when she wanted donuts dropping off was you.
Thank you, Meef. See, Meef cares about me as a person. He understands me.
Yep.
Mercedes Martinez just got Death Valley Drivered on the buy-in by Allie.
Thanks, Mutter.
But
it's the replay.
You're talking about something that happened 2 days ago.
No,
3 days ago at best.
This Battle Royal happened a year ago. Mercedes Martinez is on NXT.
Okay, you coach back on. Okay.
Anyway.
What is Byron? I don't understand Byron.
Where were we? Byron's in charge of the show running, by the way. Everybody knows Byron's in charge of what we talk about when we talk about it right today.
Yeah, what are we supposed to be talking about right now, Byron?
We should come back from the break.
Quick shout outs to MMM fans and other LCPN podcasts. K100 and Lucha Central in general. Yeah. Also, Denise put out an interview with Kananan.
You guys can just do whatever you want. I was just trying to be helpful.
No, that's helpful. So let's do that thing. You're talking about old wrestling matches.
So did Denise interview Conan recently? What's going on? Is it a video?
Yeah. This week.
Yeah. I saw her put it out. Yeah.
Is it today? Oh, yesterday?
Does he put our show over?
Didn't listen.
Did she ask Conan if smoking Iranian tobacco had anything to do with his exit from Lucha Underground? That would be a good question.
I thought it would help working on that show.
I just don't see the appeal. I mean, I guess for other people, but I don't see the appeal of like her doing interviews of, I guess Chris Van Valet, whatever, does some stuff, but like him, her, they're just like smiling fluff pieces and they're building that up. And, you know, it's like they go and they talk to you for like 10 minutes and it's just kind of mild conversational.
But that's why performers agree to do them, because they want to do fluff pieces and they don't want to do shoot interviews. I mean, how many wrestlers have turned us down because they know that they're going to have to answer a real question if they come on this show?
Mm-hmm. How many have canceled on us at the last minute because they finally realized what they were getting into?
3.
Yeah, 3. Yeah.
3. I won't mention any names.
Real heroes. So come on, and then just no sell and kayfabers. That's what a real hero does.
You mean like Drago?
Me joking.
I didn't do that interview, so I don't care that he kayfabed the shit out of you.
Me just laughed something out of his nose. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Look, I don't care if people come on and kayfabe or not. Like Cross has come on. Actually, I don't even know if Cross was kayfabe or real.
No, that was real. That was real.
No. But one of them was certainly more kayfabe intentionally than our other interviews.
We did purposely do.
Yeah, it was purposely funny. It was like an evening with a psycho killer. It was totally
we're not going to Hugo our listeners on this one. I guess.
But I don't.
Yeah, you have to pick which one is kayfabe. There's about 5 or 6 of them. You have to pick which one.
You guys go and pick which interview with Cross is actually kayfabe from the ones we've done before in the past.
And it's the one where he's laughing and joking around.
Yeah. But the funny thing is, like, I don't care. Like, if a performer wants to come on here and just totally kayfabe it, that's great. Yeah. We'll do a character piece. I don't give a fuck. It's all entertainment. Like, you wouldn't be listening to this podcast if you didn't just want to be entertained. Like, do you care if they're shooting or working? Like, who gives a fuck? But yes, those interviews, those are kind of fluffy. Alicia interviews and Denise's interviews, like, yeah, but I get why performers want to do those. Like, they don't want. It's like Entertainment Tonight compared to, you know, sitting down on Larry King Live or something. It's a whole different world.
So you're saying we're the Larry King of Lucha Libre podcasts?
Yes.
Yes. Do you know?
See, the thing is, for me as well, I don't think Conan would want to do one of those interviews. I think he'd want to do something more like this.
Maybe he will.
I mean, he does every week though on his show. He's really forthcoming and honest. I mean,
we should reach out and get Conan on.
I mean, the reason for him to do this show would be specifically to really talk about Lucha Underground. Like, I get that he can shoot on his show anytime he wants, but it would be really weird for him to just kind of go off and start talking about old promotions randomly without some context or somebody writing in a letter or something. Like, I'm sure if somebody wrote him a letter and asked him some questions, he would answer them on a show in a heartbeat. But this would just be an actual format where he could really just talk about one specific thing and what he liked about it and what was fun and whatever. So if he wants to do it, maybe we'll get him on one day. I know Klein Rock's probably mentioned it to him. We'll see. He's also a super busy guy. It's not like he doesn't run 17 wrestling promotions simultaneously and do like 5 hours of podcast work every week and then random interviews with Denise Salcedo. And guys, pretty damn busy.
Running several promotions of wrestling. Yeah, the restart of AAA.
I think I heard he mentioned not concrete, but AAA should be. They have a return date. I think they're trying to come back. Not set in stone.
Yeah, it's amazing that I thought at one point they were going to be the one wrestling promotion to keep going through COVID, and then they ended up being the one wrestling promotion that's doing nothing, though NWA is clearly doing nothing.
Honestly, right now, though, it's smart because if the commission's clamping down on CMLL when they're usually all over their nuts, they're really going to clamp down on AAA. So it's the right.
You can't see what I'm pointing at right now, but you can probably guess what I'm pointing at. When you mentioned the commission. But funny enough, the commission made a ruling, but it was everywhere else but Mexico City Central, the federal district.
That makes sense.
So basically, it was
there's a whole lot of places in the country right now that I could see running wrestling shows, but not in Los Angeles.
Yeah, but I mean, CMLL's main arena is there that they actually own, and so it's like they're fucked. Because they've got a unique thing. Like, they own the arena that they're in. Like, no other promotion has that. Imagine if Lucha Underground had that and didn't have to go to some fucking brewery.
Well, I mean, AEW basically has that with Daly's Place right now.
Oh, that's true. You got me there. Yeah.
Daly's Place is so awesome. That was such a smart thing.
I think technically, though, Daly's Place is Shad Khan's and not Tony's, right?
Yeah, but it's
a technicality.
So cool.
He has to pay his dad rent still.
Yeah, $100 a month.
That would not surprise me.
I just love how Vince and company were the most notable names in wrestling that wanted to just keep running or to run with fans since the beginning and not be careful of the COVID thing. And they are the last big company to have fan. Who knows when they're going to get live fans? They even bought out a residency and they still can't put live fans in there.
Well, they're also a public company too, so what they do is not really just purely their business decision. They have shareholders to keep happy. But anyway, let's talk about something that we talk about every single week here on Mass Mats and Mayhem.
Penises?
Lucha Underground. No, Lucha Underground. The other
I was gonna say dicks. Damn it.
And honestly, we've actually missed that a few weeks. We've actually skipped over that a few weeks, but I don't think we've ever not talked about Lucha Underground. Okay. So let's do it again. Lucha Underground, Season 1, Episode 18 in our Rewind this week, which is available to watch currently on Tubi, along with Byron's movie, The Bates Haunting, and My Death Scene in Transfer 6.
Yes.
All the action's on Tubi.
And every episode of G.I. Joe.
Oh, my God. Must watch. Anyway, so this episode is called No Escape. I don't know that's the best name for this episode,
fucking dope movie with Ray Liotta in it. Good movie.
But it's a cage match episode where one of the main ways to win is escaping, which is the lamest part of a cage match, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe it was talking about Angelico.
Oh yeah, there's no escape. It was originally called No Escape to the Rape.
Wow. Well, we'll get to that because I didn't think this one was as bad.
Lucha Underground was ahead of their time writing cuck scenes into a wrestling show.
They were ahead of their time having rapey wrestlers get fans pissed off.
Yeah, but you can't diss this episode too much, Casey, because it meets one very specific qualification for a good episode of Lucha Underground. It has Pentagon Junior.
I know. It makes me want to almost revise my rating system, but as longtime listeners know, if Pentagon's on the show and he wins, it's an automatic 5-star episode.
I would think that you should revise maybe your system too if he's on the show and wins and breaks someone's arms.
Good, which we got, and if Josh Barnett looks scared the whole time he saw it happen.
He wasn't getting crazy. It was just like, this is cool. Like, don't look at me, please, Pentagon Junior, sir. I'm enjoying this.
And rightfully so, because it was awesome. Sadly, the person on this week's receiving end of torture from Pentagon Junior is Argenis, our buddy. Oh,
yes.
Sorry, Argenis, but I was cheering for the other guy. I'm sorry.
I
just one time I clearly was too.
Yeah, well, everyone was like they had the chance before Pentagon made it to the ring. But I thought Argenis did a great job. I thought they promoted him as much as they're going to promote him against.
Yeah, I think he did a great job. He did like an acai moonsault off the top rope to the floor. Like that's more than a great job.
And they clearly said, and they're really throwing down the family and AAA lineage. Like, hey, this is a big guy. And this guy is another caliber of competition for Pentagon.
Yeah, they let him go. They let him go 80-20 with Pentagon, him being the 20, which everyone else got maybe 5. So he got 20. So that's good, right?
It was a good 20 as well. It wasn't just a 20%.
Yeah, he did cool shit.
Kick.
He got his arm broken.
I can't describe the layout of the match in one sentence like I could with Vinny's.
Right.
So Argenis clearly
solid lucha libre match, I would say.
Actually, it kind of was, wasn't it?
It was a rare singles match for both of these guys, really. I think it was a solid way of kind of getting across that, and like you said, the family thing, and shitting.
I gotta bring up one specific spot because I did not remember this spot, and when I watched it, I went, "Oh,
I know what you're talking about."
Jesus, what the body press of Argenis and the throw towards the turnbuckle, and he goes down straight on his head. My God.
He took a couple bad ones. He took that, and he took the Tajiri elbow attempt into the drop kick to the stomach that was a little stiffsky enough that Vampiro's like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, sometimes when Vamp jumps up, it's because he thinks somebody's actually murdered. And it's a bad thing, and he needs to call an ambulance. Other times, Vamp jumps up because he thinks somebody's actually been murdered, and he loves it.
Yeah.
It's not happened yet.
He's such a conundrum.
I have to always talk about it because it's the most amazing thing ever. When he does that handspring, and the guy does a handspring, and he drop kicks them. When he does it to Fenix, and Fenix hits the ropes that hard, that he flies back into the ring.
Yeah,
it's still a thing of beauty. It's the most greatest thing ever.
Yeah. We get to see that. We get to see that after Grave Consequences because I think they have one more match against each other on this season.
But that particular bump on top of Argenis' head in this episode, in episode 18, No Escape. I just was like, I rewound it like 4 or 5 times just to make sure he was okay. And it's like 3 years later, and he's been on the show since then. So I know he's okay, but I still needed to rewind and double check.
I don't think he was okay then. I don't know.
And he finished the match. There was like still some spots after that, but
after the heartbreak, they go in and put a neck brace on him.
Yeah.
That probably was not a bad idea. I do think that there was a little bit strange here that Vamp and Stryker clearly got the word in the earpieces to try to explain away how over Pentagon was as a Rudo. Like they're trying to explain it to the audience, and this is clearly where, at the point where the believers are starting to be a character now, and an uncontrollable, unruly character at that you can't control. Like, if you guys want us to boo this guy, tough shit. It's not happening.
And I gotta point out Big Dick Vic in the front row with one of his with the original Pentagon shirt, like the one that's even older than the one we've got.
Oh wow,
the South Park head, isn't it? It's like South Park style.
It kind of looks like it. It's not really a
Flash Funko.
Yeah, it looks like it on TV, but up close, it's more detailed than that.
Oh, is it like the one you used to be able to get on Redbubble quite a lot?
It's the exact Redbubble shirt, yeah.
And now this was parking lot merch, right? From the wrestlers that Lucha Underground just let get on, or
we don't talk about that, Justin.
No,
why not?
Kiss the Pizarking Mazurch.
Yeah, man.
Well, somebody had to let it get on air, and that was very nice of them, because the rule at Lucha Underground was that no logos or outside merchandise was allowed to be worn during the show.
But they also went through like 3 lawyers this season.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
the last lawyer let me in.
Last lawyer, when we chanted bodily fluids, said we could wear whatever we want.
Yeah. That's
there is there is something to that where they just kind of like, okay, these people are going to do whatever they want. There's only so much.
Let's be honest. Some of the people who were attending, there would have been like, the classic sound of a flick knife opening. Good. The last lawyer said
don't think that Waffle House wouldn't have still had to go at him anyway.
I got a Lucha Underground lawyer story for you, and a dumb fan story at the same time. So a fan came to the show wearing a Sombra mask. The lawyers don't know who the fuck Sombra is, so they say, "Hey, whose mask is that?" "Oh, it's Sombra." "Are they a AAA wrestler?" "No." "Then you got to take it off." So all you got to do is say, "Yes, they're in AAA." You get to wear whatever the fuck you want.
And these guys don't even know. It's amazing.
And this lawyer kid straight out of lawyer school on their first job will be like, due diligence, cool. but back to the announcing thing, how they're trying to overly explain why these pack of rabid animals are cheering for this huge Rudo. It's just the Striker and even Vampiro to an extent, just overall messaging of the announcing is pretty much mansplaining.
At this point, yeah. And I feel like they get over that hump, but I don't think they know what to do, because, I mean, half the point of writing wrestling stuff is you're trying to get your audience to believe that certain characters are bad guys and believe that certain characters are good guys. And it's like, I don't know if they knew what to do with this kind of, tweener thing that they were getting from
groundswell of,
yeah. They didn't. That's why he didn't go over at Ultima Lucha Dos.
Fuck you, Joseph. We're doing Wall of Shame now.
Explained. We could get to it when we get to season 2. There's a reason for that. I think this is why they had Sexy Star go over in a submission match.
Didn't happen. Never happened.
Don't mention it to him. Come on.
I know. Casey and I were there. We're the only ones cheering Pentagon whenever
you're bringing it up.
Boot under her chin.
I'll tell you one of the things that you should really enjoy about this match, if you're going back and watching season 1, episode 18 of Lucha Underground, No Escape, is Pentagon doing an over-the-top rope dive. There's not a ton of those that happen these days. So appreciate it when you go back and see them, because they're
it was beautifully shot, I thought, as well. The cameraman did a cracking shot of getting the pan and the underneath it.
He's earned never having to do dives again. If you get more of a pop,
he's got a brother to do it for him.
Yeah, really. There's a reason why Phoenix is above him on the PWI 500 this year. Just saying.
Yeah.
Because he had one singles match on AEW.
I loved Taz. I think it was on Dark, a Lucha Brothers tag match, where Phoenix, him and Pentagon were doing a double team move. They're holding one of those Lucha moves. You hold the wrist, and then the guy jumps on the ropes, and it's Phoenix. So he's like jumping and flipping and like bouncing on the ropes 3 times before he does one of those Lucha arm drags. Yeah, Taz is like, Phoenix is stealing my old stuff. My old spots.
I would have loved to see Taz do that, though. It'd been amazing. He's all right.
Taz didn't even like to do simple chain wrestling back in the day. He would yell at RBD and Jerry Lynn for doing like 4-minute chain wrestling strings. He would just be like, what the? I hope you guys don't expect me to do that shit. Taz doesn't do any of that stuff. It's bump, rope, suplex, good to go, out of here.
God, I fucking love Taz and ECW. God damn it.
Right.
I hope he makes it.
But part of why he was good was because he absolutely refused to do anything of the sort. Or he would come in, do 3 clotheslines and a suplex, and that was the match, and you loved it.
Sometimes he'd throw that boot in too. Sometimes, like if he felt like it.
It's like if Ricky Marvin and Brock Lesnar had a baby.
Speaking of Ricky's, when's Ricky Mandel going to do this show? Ricky Mandel, what the hell are you doing? Do you have a reason not to be on our show right now?
Dude, that's Ricky, you are our favorite skeleton that hasn't done our show yet.
Yes.
All skeletons must appear on MMM show.
Listen, we got the point of view from the other two guys. They said a lot of stuff about you. We want to know what you have to say about them.
You gotta clear the air of who the weak link was in the Disciples of Death.
Wow. Gauntlet laid down. Challenges out there. Ricky Mandel, come and tell us the truth, man. All right, vignette number.
Did you fuck that doll?
What?
No, I promise I will not ask that question if you come on the show.
Oh. That's me and Casey, those.
We don't talk about anything that may or may not have happened with the doll, but I will say this. 1 week, the doll looked normal. The next week, the doll had a little something in the corner of its eye. And moving on.
What is that? What does that mean?
Phoenix and Katrina. Vignette.
This vignette, not this vignette, but the one following it bothered me.
Mm-hmm.
The middle one bothered me.
I like that mask, though.
There's a major continuity error in the Mil Muertes one.
She's standing there, and then she isn't standing there?
Exactly. No, she gave him the fucking rock, but she's using it against him next week in the match.
That's true. Yeah.
She did leave the rock there.
So there's some weird continuity things too, because doesn't she tell Phoenix that he has 1,000 lives, but Mil will take all of them? And it's like, no, Mil is the one with 1,000 lives. Phoenix,
he's 1,000
deaths.
1,000 deaths.
It's 1,000 lives versus 1,000 deaths.
No, but he's a Phoenix. It just means he can come back to life. He can be restored from the ashes.
Technically, he doesn't have lives to lose. Whereas
his
Mil
name
has
isn't
1,000 lives to
Mil
lose.
Phoenix. It's not Mil Phoenix. It's just Phoenix.
Yeah, because they didn't want people calling him MILF, bro.
MILF Phoenix. MILF Square Enix. Love it.
No, I do got to tell our audience, though, that this segment here is setting up the best match in Lucha Underground history that we will be talking about next week.
It's next week, isn't it?
It's absolutely. It's definitely the best match this far. The only match that I might put over it would be the Hell of War match, which is way far away.
We won't even get there for years, but I love that match too. So is this the first real teleportation we've seen?
Yes.
Yeah.
But
everything else has been like lights.
It's still not overt, Yeah,
it's still kind of like, did she just leave or did she actually I Dream a Genie herself out of there?
They have very, very clearly hit their stride with this whole storyline with all three characters.
I don't know if I'd say they hit their stride. I would say that they're actually up and running.
Up and running. Yeah. And also, I think it's just
staggering a bit, but
I just think it's very cool with these two segments. It's pretty much two promos with a narrator. It's like a cool shot of Phoenix considering the match he's about to have, and you have a narrator telling you what he's in for, and then you have the narrator saying what Mil is in for, except Katrina is playing that role, just hyping up what's at stake for each character. And I think that she's used that in a very cool way as a device for that storytelling. And also, she's on Phoenix's side, right?
Or is she?
Or is she? She wants Phoenix to believe she is on Phoenix's side.
I also found it was interesting that Skip Chasen redefines the term rack focus in this scene. The less said about that, the better. And
well done.
Yes, things in the foreground appear in focus and things in the background don't until you put them in focus. But sometimes it's a really long path to get there.
Exactly.
I put in the notes, very cool visuals.
All right. So speaking of very cool visuals, and speaking of Skip Chasen, what I'm noticing on this rewatch that we're doing, this Lucha Underground Rewind, is that they have these cool package vignettes that they'll give you a little bit of 1 week, and then I don't know if they're going back and shooting more or what, but then they give you a longer or a conclusion version of it. This week we're doing the Conan one. Last week It was literally just Conan coming out of the rain. But now you see him doing like this Evil Dead building the chainsaw thing with his cane and kind of whipping up on some dudes. Like it's a continuation of it. And it's way cooler than the first version. Similar to the Pentagon one, which is way cooler the second time. What's the big problem?
There's a big problem.
What's the big problem?
When he's forging it, he's forging it cold, which means it actually makes it brittle as fuck. And it will shatter into 1,000 pieces.
Oh, don't worry. It pays off, Meef, when you see what happens to this cane. But what bothers me is they kind of wrap chicken wire around it to pass it off as carbon fiber. That was a little janky. Don't put it in close up if you're going to do that shit.
I like this promo vignette thing. Cool. In fact, I was like, damn, Conan looks like a badass. This is the most badass I've seen him looking in ages.
But don't we have another vignette where he fucks up all the guys with the cane? That might be next week.
Maybe next. I thought he was going to this time.
I did too.
Me too.
And then it just kind of ended before that happened. Maybe there's a part 3 to this one. I don't remember because the funny thing is like these vignettes in my mind all happened once. But like in reality, the cage one was like 3 parts. The Pentagon one was like building into this bigger thing. But in my mind, from my memory. Yeah, the Pentagon one especially, I was like, the first one that we saw was like, wait, isn't there more to this? Like, what the fuck? I was so confused. And then like 2 weeks later, you get the rest of it.
Man, Justin, you know what I wish my mind would do that with?
What's that?
Fucking Angelico, Son of Havoc, and Ivelise segments. I wish they were all one in my mind, and so I'd never have to watch them again.
We're not there yet.
I thought we were. Sorry.
They really didn't feel that bad. But yeah. Oh, yeah. You can't skip over your boy Cuerno, can you? Cuerno, the Hunters, has arrived.
Technically in the wrong truck.
Yeah, it's not his truck, and he's not wearing his hat. This segment sucked.
Yeah,
that's fair.
It was a really nice shot, and the idea was great, but it wasn't wearing the cool little hat, and it wasn't the copper-colored truck, which I can't remember what it was. I told you guys before which kind of truck it is.
It was a Chevy Silverado.
Yeah, it was a Silverado. Yeah.
It was a Silverado.
Because I spent loads of time and effort doing that. Yeah.
Oh, I would have just told you. My dad used to have one, bro.
Oh.
All right. So we can now move on to what Casey would love to be one segment. And you know what's really funny to me? I did not dislike this segment originally. I didn't have a huge problem. Like, I wasn't a big fan of Son of Havoc, but I wasn't like as mad at it now as I feel like I am.
No, and this match, I'm mad about the rapiness of the match.
But I think this one was done way better than the previous one.
But
I did not mind this one as much. I didn't think that this one was as.
You know what it is, Justin? This is the one people complained about, and they re-edited it to look less bad.
They fixed it. Yeah. You could tell at the end on the pin
that hump
they definitely cut around the jackknife pin.
Oh, and I also want to say, hey, Melissa Santos, way to corpse while announcing the winner because she thought the pin was funny. She's fucking laughing when she's saying, here's your winner, Angelico.
That's the thing I forgot to mention about Pentagon. Argenis beat him.
What?
There's a pin at the very beginning of the match, and Rick Knox hits a clean 3, and then about half a second later, there's a kick out.
He was working hurt, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And Rick Knox, that arm of Rick Knox's is always broken, and he's just a little off with his count. But no, that doesn't count.
It was more Pentagon just stayed still. It was like he had his shoulders down and he went 1, 2, 3. I was like,
for those of you that don't know, Rick Knox has a chronic masturbation problem that affects his hand at multiple times. No, he doesn't, but he gets hurt a lot, which kind of sucks.
He does. He is a frail man, but he's also a man who's not afraid to bump ridiculously, which is part of why that shit keeps happening to him.
I mean, a frail man, like he broke his collarbone one time because, what was it, Luchasaurus, or was it Mil Muertes?
I think it was Mil, actually.
Mil just chokeslammed him like he was just a rag doll.
But he's the one who's like, yeah, you can totally chokeslam me in that match. It's fine. No, I'll totally take a super kick off the top rope.
He's like, hey, Young Bucks.
Casey bought the mask.
I bought the mask, baby.
Woo! All right. So one thing I want to say real quick is, this was the first time that it was officially established and accepted that the announcers do not know what is happening in the vignettes. The announcer said very clearly that they don't know who the ref is going to be. Dario has only told them there's going to be a special guest ref. But we learned last week in vignettes that it was already Son of Havoc. So now we are.
I hate guest referees, Justin.
Well, I understand that, but I'm just saying we are clearly establishing the convention that the announcers do not see what is happening in the vignettes. If anyone was ever questioning where that was established, this is absolutely one of those times where it is set in stone. They're not supposed to know, goddammit. So when they break that rule later, fuck.
Yeah, it was established and everyone was like, oh, this is so cool. And then Stryker will be like, yeah, that thing you guys just saw on TV.
Yeah. I love that there was lots of arm drags and Hurricane Ranas and whatnot in this one. I liked how this one was set up more. And they did cut away from the triangle that she did on Angelico, which I guess was a little salacious. They cut away from a couple of the moves very clearly. To
the pin big time, because I think there was thrusting involved in the pin that they cut away from. Yeah.
But maybe that's why I didn't mind it, because this TV version is PG-13 enough that it didn't offend my sensibilities. So kudos to the editors.
Yeah, they did all right with telling that story. The story of the match and trying to keep the offensive stuff out. And also still with all the bullshit going on, all three characters still kind of get over. Ivelise definitely shows out and gets over at the top of the match. It's also just kind of wild to see her in Lucha Underground at this point doing this stuff. It's seeing her like on AEW now, but also you look at who she's working with in AEW too.
Those were all words.
Yeah,
you said them.
So next match. What's your next match again?
Oh, let me turn the page.
It's so there's the second vignette, Great Consequence vignette.
Yes,
it's Mil and Katrina. Mil's putting on his mask. And then she comes in and talks to him. And then we have the cage match afterwards.
And she gets to call him Pascual Mendoza again.
Yeah.
You see the little boy in the Rebel.
You know what? Whenever she calls Pascual, do you guys remember that there was like a Funnies comic that had a little baby named Pascual in it? It was like about some family with a baby. It was like before Rugrats. And the baby's name was Pascual, and that's all I can ever think of. Because
you got me on that one.
Yeah, dude. I don't. Baby Blues, maybe was the name of it. Maybe.
You're far too well read for me, Casey.
Hey, it's my job, like legit. But I don't like cage matches. I think, you guys, because
there's always stupid shit that goes on in them. Like it's like within the first 3 seconds, you can climb out.
Yeah, I hate lucha cage matches because they're just people running out of cages for 20 minutes.
Okay, usually. So my question with this, and now we're talking about the King Cuerno versus Johnny Mundo cage match here. The apron seems shorter in Lucha Underground somehow because the cage is like really on top of the ropes. And I just don't know. I mean, I guess there are certain places where they put up cages where they're outside the apron and not sitting on the apron because they have poles to the floor and stuff and whatnot. But clearly this isn't on the apron one. And there's lots of other promotions that do the on the apron one. I just don't ever remember other ones being this close to the ropes.
This cage was made out of basically fencing.
Yeah, I've seen this cage in person before. I think it's the cage that the EWF owns, like Jesse Hernandez. So like every cage match I've seen at a California Indies probably been that cage, I think. And because it's so flush to the apron. And yeah, WWE style, they do have those poles that go to the floor, whether it's the fancy cage or the big blue cage. Or they have, the rigging up top to hold it.
Right, to hold it. Yeah. But yeah, this was weird. This was just weird to me because there was a short distance and, and I think it caused a few weird things. Like they botched off the top rope fairly early on in the match, which looked brutal. It was, I'm surprised. Look, like you're editing the show. Why not just take that out? That was a terrible botch.
Like that's a beautiful knee attack, though.
To quote the great Dave Coulier, cut it out.
Yeah.
That was for Jim. I actually fucking hate Full House.
I did, but see, okay. So here's where the escape thing worked for me and why I liked it in this match is the holding Cuerno by his mask thing. I thought that was friggin' epic. I loved that.
Yeah, it was cool until they redid it.
And that was the one thing that you can only do in a...
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Justin,
but honestly,
remember when they redid the exact
cage matches? I don't know if I've seen that.
No, because it's a disqualification to do that. But they did the exact same finish in the Sexy Star Johnny Mundo cage match, and that was the finish. That she lost because he took her mask off. And he climbed out. So, I mean, I liked it here, but they repeat the spot later on with the same guy. It's kind of like watching Bret Hart.
Maybe they figured no one would be watching that match to notice, so they just recycled some stuff.
Unfortunately, we had to be there in person.
There was a wonderful like chop block off the top rope on this one that Cuerno does.
Yeah, I like how
I've never seen that before. That was amazing.
It was cool to see him do something since they hamstrung his coolest moves by putting a cage around the ring.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I thought it was fun. I thought they did a lot of good spots.
Yeah, I'm with Casey. I always find cage matches kind of illogically stupid because, again, Phantasmo technically lost a mask in a match where he was literally outside the ring.
Yeah, I think that the cage matches usually suck. There's exceptions like Tully and Magnum TA in the I Quit match where the cage was just there, not part of the finish.
As an extra weapon.
But I mean, let's be realistic. This cage was here for one reason and one reason only: for Johnny Mundo to do his top of the cage, end of the world, whatever spinny, flippy, parkoury thing, and it looked awesome.
Whisper in the Wind.
Great.
Whisper in the Wind. Was it?
It was a couple more rotations than that. Though.
Yeah. And plus, it was to a standing opponent, and the End of the World's not. But they did get that great shot of him standing over the deer head. Like that was fucking dope. That looked cool.
I love the one spot where both the guys are up in a corner and Mundo from the back of the mask just backflips Cuerno onto the mat.
Yeah.
My favorite part's when the camera's right in their face near the finish and he's ramming Cuerno's head in the cage and missing by 6 inches each time in front of the camera and they left it in.
That was something that I noticed I had to write down. It is that Mundo was in this match was making the transition from like WWE parkour ballerina to a much better guy who looks like he's actually fighting.
Except that spot where he looked like he was joining the Dark Order instead.
Yeah, it's a process. It's a process.
I've just remembered in a cage match that's acceptable is a Ravens Clockwork Orange House of Fun match where it's an entire cage covering the entire ring with a lid on it with weapons.
Yeah, but also
that's you engaged in.
Well, first of all, Lucha Underground has gone there as well, but we won't talk about that yet. And second of all, like I think those kind of matches work because of these kind of matches. Like, look, it was a regular TV week. The storyline wasn't going to go super far from this anyway. I thought it was good. I thought it was worthy of a cage match to do something a little bit different to spice it up without trying to take it too far.
They're going to turn Johnny heel in 2 weeks or something anyway, right?
Oh, no. Spoilers.
Hey.
What's happened, Bone?
Hey, Cuerno did the Orton punt.
He did.
Yes.
That was awesome. And
I actually really liked it, too.
And the crowd
he did it last week, too, or in their match before he did it, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
Listen,
awesome.
that was it. That's the Lucha Underground Rewind. We rewound. We watched it again. You guys owe us money or something because we are sitting through Lucha Underground until grave consequences.
Byron, give me the one. I'm going to tell these motherfuckers what they owe us.
That's good. Well, you know what we need? Fine. Just let's
do it, Byron. What are you going to do?
I need each and every one of you that listens to the show to go and rate us on iTunes and rate the Lucha Central version, not our old fucking show, okay? The current show going on. We need ratings so we could get sponsors. Okay. So please rate us on iTunes, even if it's it's got to be 5 stars. Don't be fucking dicks. Don't say Casey sucks. Don't say any of that shit. Just do 5 stars. 5 stars. 5 stars. Byron sucks. And don't say penis at the end because it might affect our sponsorships. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. I agree with that.
If you take a picture of you rating us 5-star, we'll give you a shout out on the show, and I'll personally call Byron a dickhead for you.
Well, you might have to do some of that today. As soon as we come back, we'll check the iTunes feed and see if some people hit us up or not.
I'm glad Meef is volunteering to keep track of the list of people.
Yes, he absolutely just did, and this is a legally binding agreement.
Wow, they got you, Meef. We'll be right back.
Lucha-masks.com, in partnership with Mask Republic, give you personal protective masks to keep you Lucha strong in the fight versus COVID-19. With world-class luchadors Blue Demon Jr., the Lucha Brothers, LA Park, Ultimo Dragon, Cain Velasquez, Conan, and so much more. Head to lucha-masks.com and you too can become a masked warrior. Lucha-masks.com, powered by Pro Wrestling Revolution.
Hell yeah, dude. Luchamasks.com, baby. I just ordered.
Wait a minute. What the fuck is that, Meefloaf? Is that what I think it is?
It's the juice, baby.
Is that a
wait? No, get him off this single. Get Hoobie's shit off this show altogether. Fuck that guy. What are you doing?
That's not a luchamasks.com mask.
Yeah, he's a fucking highway robber. He's a thief. He's an awful human being. Why are we promoting him? This is terrible. I hate all of this.
Casey, bring up the mask you just bought. Hey, if you're listening to us live, this mask just went live Saturday.
Wait,
it's gonna be gone by the time you hear this episode. But this is the Lucha Bros combo mask on luchamasks.com. Fucking spits hot. Fire!
All right, I'm gonna go fucking order one. You're an asshole. I can't believe you're making me do this right now.
Oh, and look at these purple highlights on the sides. It might be hard to see, but it's fucking beautiful. Look at that. Oh, wow. Look at that.
Damn, that thing is
actually
super
based
dope.
It's like straight up.
That Pentagon's wearing tonight.
Yeah, his samurai mask.
No. Well, they said about the samurai, but if you look at the one that he's got now, whether it's a Phoenix and Pentagon fusion, it looks samurai-ish. He was wearing it today with the photo shoots with the King.
We also have Meef's favorite wrestler, Psycho Clown.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, that's a good one. That'll be a hot seller.
Yep.
Of course it will. Look like a dickhead.
Yeah.
Whatever, man. I'd rather have that than a Hoobie mask. Fuck.
We also have Princesa Suge, who I cannot pronounce her name right, and I probably botched it, but I'm not showing it. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's all good.
You said the name, I just assumed.
Yeah, here we go, Byron. You can have like a nice little butterfly on your face.
Oh, that's cute. I like that too.
It's orange though.
Dude, one of the greatest female workers of all time, underrated as fuck. AEW should sign her. Just saying.
Cracking teeth as well, because she's got cool braces.
Wow.
I gotta say this Mysteriosa one, very colorful, like awesome looking materials.
Dude, these masks are fire, man. Look, lucha-masks.com has all your PPE needs. If you're not getting those masks, you are crazy. They're collectable.
You can get
they're
Mathematico. Cubs fan. Look at that.
Lucha Blog.
LuchaBlog.com.
But
I do have to shout out, go to the Juicy Shop.
Fuck that. Okay, look. People don't understand. Okay, so let me tell you why I have heat with Hoovie. There was a day and age when there was this faction in AAA called Mad.
The Barrio Boys.
And Kevin Cross was in there and a bunch of other people and Hoovie and Teddy Hart and a bunch of other guys. It was dope. And I was like, hey, Cross, how do I get one of those? And he was like, yeah, Hoovie's got them. Just hit Hoovie up. So I hit Hoovie up and he was like, oh, yeah, bro, I got you covered. I got you dialed. Just, hit my PayPal and I'll ship one out to you. Did that. Didn't quite do it right. Something was weird with the exchange. So I did it again. And basically I paid for 2 shirts and Hoovie was like, yeah, I'll get those out to you. And then like a month later, I was like, yeah, Hoovie, yo, what's up with my shirt? Like, are you going to send me my Mad shirt? Like, I'm trying to rep you out, man. I'm trying to support you and shit. Like, people watch my show. Like, what's up, dude? And he was like, yeah, no, I got you, bro. It's coming. It's juicy. You'll love it. And then like a month after that, it was like, no, it's still juicy. You'll still love it whenever I get around to sending it. And then like a month after that, it was like, yeah, no, bro, it's juicy. I'm like, fuck you and your juice. And then by the time Hoovy is like, no, I'm sending those shirts this week. They were on fucking Pro Wrestling Tees by then, and I just bought one from there. And then Hoovy still never sent it. So I had to fucking call Hoovy's mom again. Like, after, you know, she left her number on the nightstand. So I was like, yeah, Hoovy's mom, can you tell Hoovy to send me my fucking money back? Because he's a goddamn dickhead for not sending me my fucking shirt. Piece of shit. I paid him like $80 fucking US for those goddamn shirts, and I never fucking saw him. Sorry, I'm a little upset.
You know what, Justin? It sounds like he wheezed your juice, buddy.
I like the story better when your shirts go to this guy named Dan in Connecticut.
Look, I will give Hoovy credit for one thing and one thing only. He is a much prettier woman than his mother.
Can we do the math on that?
Are we sure?
No, we're not sure. His mom's kind of hot. It's fine.
My mom.
I'm kidding, Hoovy. I apologize. Your mom is way hotter than you. Don't worry about it.
But basically, he's selling his WCW attire.
Fine. Look. So, if you happen to be one of those people that Hoovy hasn't robbed blindly and you want to support him and buy some of his stuff, he really is selling some of his cooler bits right now. So go and do whatever Meef says to buy them.
Can I explain this one?
Go for it. Go ahead.
Okay.
What's the URL of the website?
Go to Instagram and go to the Juicy Shop, or follow his account, Juventud Guerrera, and you'll just message him. He's pretty cool.
Can you spell that for me?
Oh, yeah. JUVENTUD GUERRARA.
GUBENTUG.
You didn't do that with enough B's in there.
GUERR mother.
I love how every episode of K100, shout out to K100, starts with the same Hoovy promo.
Well, it did for a while.
It's been a while. Thanks for listening, Byron. Thanks for blowing up our fucking spot with keeping it 100.
Catch up, Byron.
Past tense. I loved how every episode would start with.
Oh, Byron's the guy you have to tell 3 weeks later that he got a fucking like minute and a half long shout out on the fucking show. It's all right, though.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about the Wall of Fame and the Wall of Shame before Byron goes off and watches more wrestling on us. Wall of Fame: Tony Khan, Karrion Kross, Roman Reigns, Robert Stone brand put on there by Byron, Masked Republic and the Legends of Lucha Libre collections, and Casey for hooking people up with Storm Shadow.
Oh, Wall of Shame time, motherfucker!
You ready?
Amazon.
Okay.
By the way,
Wall of Shame.
Go to the _juicy shop on Instagram because that's a dangerous search, by the way.
Okay, gotcha.
Make sure you get that one right. Make sure you get that
Wall of Shame now is that Amazon.
I have people.
Okay, let me go through who is already on there, and then I'll let you guys do what you want to do to add. David Lagana is still firmly on there. Tessa Blanchard, God, she phoned it in. Brit Wrestling, Pretos, and Pervs, all of them. Ricochet, at least until he can cut a decent promo,
or win an arm wrestling match,
or do anything credible in wrestling at this point. Like, come on, man! Like, you got to know like one person in the back that will like let you do something in wrestling. Cero miedo. UFC 4 game for not being up to Casey standards. Jeffrey Briggs and JT Wilcoxon, the guys who filed a trademark for Lucha Underground Wrestling. Dick shits. Patrick Clark, aka Velveteen Dream. We'll get to him in a minute. Retribution, unless Cross is the leader. If Cross is the leader, Retribution gets off the list.
But that's not because it makes Retribution tolerable. It's because we are now scared to say anything bad about it.
Correct. Absolutely spot on correct. Impact Wrestling, because they couldn't get their wrestlers verified on Twitter or even MySpace at this point. Super sad. The Cult Icon, AAMS, Eric Mutter, still on the list for spoilering Cross's big win to Byron.
Yeah, don't give us any AEW results yet. We're watching it in 45 minutes.
And the Mug Guy.
Can I add someone? Can I add someone? Okay. Now.
Oh, and by the way, before you add someone, like, look, if you don't want to get Eric muttered yourself, make sure you listen to our rules. There is a 3-hour moratorium on spoilers, especially directly messaged to anyone after a wrestling event. You got 3 hours,
especially on Saturdays when we record,
unless we confirm that we are
watching live. So if we're not live tweeting it, especially don't hit us with UFC results. Don't hit us with wrestling results. Don't hit us with football results. Just leave us alone.
Don't
hit
us
with the question. Just go, are you watching? That's always a good leader.
Honestly,
ask us that first.
Or if you're British, have you seen?
Am I talking to if I'm talking about wrestling, the only people whose opinions that matter are in this DM for this show. Maybe Zach too. Zach's cool. You know,
speaking of opinions that matter, my computer crashed earlier in the show because Jim sent me like a 900 DPI photograph of himself at Topgolf.
Those dick pics again, huh?
Yeah.
He's got to get every vein in the shot. It's terrible.
Look, whatever. Meeflos is the new champion. I expect my DM to be full of Meeflo pictures now, not Jim.
I have a question for the
Jim is old news.
I don't put out.
Go ahead. What's your question, Byron?
My Instagram, I'm like, checking the social medias for this shit. And my Instagram is now, it turns out, in Turkish language, whatever that would be. The words,
Turkish,
like profile, is spelled in the Turkish language.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
Do you think that this is a glitch?
No,
or do you
I think I got
it's
the world.
I don't know. What's your fucking last name?
My last name is @ByronFever. Send me money on Venmo. My last name is Turk. So I wonder because I have dual authentication. So maybe it's a glitch. But if it isn't, whoever did this, I already have a list.
What you do is
you're on the Wall of Fame.
You change your name to Byron Mongolian.
On the Wall of Shame.
Wall of Fame. You said it. You said they're going on the Wall of Fame.
He said fame, and you should change your name on there to Byron Mongolian and see if it changes it to Mongolian.
It's 2020. Can't do that.
Also, shame is Amazon.com for delaying the Storm Shadow figure that me and homeboy Kevin ordered until October.
What? And that's Amazon's doing?
Yeah, they let us know. Well, it's probably Hasbro, so they're both on the list. Hasbro and Amazon. Fuck them.
Amazon and Hasbro.
They're playing with your
microphone
figures.
is popping.
It's not mine. I'm hearing it.
It's me unmuting.
Oh, that's what it is. It's you clicking on and off. See, you told him to mute, but Meef, there's a button on the computer to do that.
If I reach into it, we're gonna lose shit. Right.
Anyway, great show, great memories. It's be cool and stay in the shit.
So did we already do the Wall of Fame?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. We're doing it. We're doing this.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about this.
What are we talking about? What is that?
This is gonna help.
Okay, so this is very, very amazing for me.
Show it to us again. What is this?
This is a black tiger crossed with a Hoovy mask, and Hoovy wore this in London last year, and he dedicated it to Eddie because Eddie was a black tiger, and then he actually wore it later on when he fought Silver King in the match in which obviously Silver King passed away. And I thought that mask had gone. I never thought I was going to ever see it again. So with its crazy emotional connection that mask has, owning it is amazing.
Awesome.
Because, yeah, like I said, and before the match, apparently, the story that's been given back to me, Hoovy told Silver King as to why he was doing it, and he was dedicating it to Eddie. And Silver King jokingly said to him, "You could be, dedicating that to me." Then obviously everything transpired.
But for those of you that don't know, Silver King was Black Tiger right after. Well, not right after, but he was the Black Tiger after Eddie.
Yeah, and this is the actual ring gear that Hoovy wore that night as well when he faced Silver King, which is slightly a bit morbid. But yeah, it's amazing for me to actually own, and I'm going to keep it very, very safe.
That ring gear. So is that the pants and like the pads and stuff? It looks like it from here.
I've got the knee pads. I can't put the kick pads on.
Oh,
They're in my
nice.
cupboard. Hoovy did send me these as well. Because my mannequin's kind of got a leg on the back.
Oh.
So
that is cool. It's fucking awesome, dude.
But we started off just as the mask, and like kind of me and Hoovy shared a few stories and conversation about it, because obviously we both have a strong connection to that mask and everything that went on. Which is, as you guys know, has kind of fucked me up for an entire year and whatever since that night. So I'm hoping I can have some kind of peace now, kind of heal a bit.
Here's hoping, dude. Here is hoping for sure. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that with us and the listeners.
It is awesome and amazing. Yeah. And also, since you purchased a house for Juventud at this point, you should get him to come on the shows so I can yell at him about Mad Shirts.
I'll ask Hoovy to come on. Bitch. He can promote his podcast on his Patreon.
Hoovy ain't afraid of me. He'll come on here. He won't give a shit.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, anybody else for the Wall of Fame, shame?
I have some quick ones. For the Wall of Fame, I think Chris Jericho should get it for incorporating into his gimmick. He's a guy who works out but also eats carbs. I was inspired.
Also, he gave $5,000 to Kev. He gave $5,500 to Kev for his kids.
Well, Jericho in general has.
Did Jericho go to Sturgis?
Yes.
Can't put him on the wall. Sorry.
Nope.
No, that's fine. I'm happy with that.
But I appreciate the nomination, but denied.
No, I mean the nomination is based on I saw a picture of him flexing in a ring and his gut was sticking out.
Which honestly was classic, and I hope that as we speak, he is putting over MJF.
Orange Cassidy.
I mean Orange Cassidy. I'm sorry.
Oh, and also, I mean, I think
you're totally right.
I think he's one of the smartest wrestlers. You know, there's the whole. Like his safety, I'm sure was 100% guaranteed for the Sturgis stuff, but they shouldn't be putting on shows.
Oh, I don't disagree. I'm not necessarily saying he's a D-bag for going, but at the same time, I can't.
It helped bring some fans into that show.
He's a D-bag for his political beliefs. That's all we got to say.
I'm on board. Like I don't think you should encourage people to flaunt safety, but I also think he should. Okay, don't put him on, but I think he should be a contender because he is doing this gimmick match, which is basically expensing all the leftover champagne bottles he did. So,
yeah, because it's someone on Reddit so gleefully worked out. There's way more champagne than orange juice in these troughs.
How is Colt Cabana not involved in this match? Like, should he be the guest referee or something? This seems like it's right out of his playbook. Like,
well, he's busy taking falls to Matt Cardona in the 8-man tag. So.
Whoever falls in, it will be drunk upon impact. And then also, no pun intended.
I don't know if you'd want to.
Impact is probably going to go out of business now that NXT is staying on Tuesdays. But I also think a serious note, Cody Rhodes' TV run, I think, should be commended way more than he gets credit for it because it was just a run of getting other people over. Constantly, he got people hired.
Yeah,
he established the belt, and now the Dark Order and Brody Lee, is on fire because of the TV title run.
All right, well, let's do this. Let's take another quick break, and let's come back. Let's talk about NXT versus Impact versus AEW because something's got to give here.
Can we put the Avengers game on the Wall of Shame?
Yeah, I heard it makes killing people as Hulk boring.
It's very important. Avengers, it's boring. Casey said so.
And Vince has to go on the Wall of Shame.
And then Preto, well, that's something we could get into next segment. And then Predator, that goes on the Wall of Shame because we tried to play it and it wouldn't work.
Okay, I do have to address this one. Like literally, they come out with this update and it crashes everyone. And it's a known crash, and it takes them a fucking week and a half to fix it. What the fuck?
Yeah. And first, I was fine. I played it because I downloaded both updates, so it shouldn't have really affected me. And then all of a sudden, I think because I played with you guys, it corrupted my data.
Well, yeah, anything you do with Siren will corrupt you.
That midweek, it was working perfectly fine, and I got into a match, and I used the Surret on the ground when you downed the new Surret. And that seemed to crash it. And I crashed it before with one of the new grenades they put on. So it's almost like it was the new stuff they added in might have been what was.
Yeah, they need to do some fixes. I really do like that game still, but it needs some love. Yeah. All right, we'll be right back in a minute, and we're going to discuss AEW versus Impact versus NXT.
If you're listening to this and you haven't visited luchacentral.com, it's time to do it. luchacentral.com is the online home for Lucha Libre, where you can get all of the top news in English and in Spanish. Find the best curated video content and original content not seen anywhere else. Find when Lucha Libre events would be happening in your area. Find photo galleries from top photographers covering Lucha Libre around the world. From weekly polls to annual awards. Seen and read by top executives in all of the major Lucha Libre promotions across the globe. And on top of that, it's free. LuchaCentral.com, your centralized place for all things Lucha Libre.
And we're back. Hey, Meef, what's this thing about fucking Vince and Twitch?
So he owns everything. If you're on the if you sign up for the network, he owns your real name too, and all your future children. So
look, it never worked for Dorian. What makes Vince think it's going to work for him?
Oh, it seems to be working for Dorian again.
Yeah, it's working for everybody. So
yeah. So here's what happened. First of all, the Dorian thing is funny. I think it's just a matter of AEW. Yeah, AEW. I think just didn't want to. They don't want to deal. Another partner, AAA, doesn't want to share IP with them. So now Pentagon Junior is Penta El Zero M. But I totally get what Vince and WWE is doing with limiting cameos and Twitch and all that stuff with their employees. I totally get that. I think to stir up a hot topic, it's the same as gun control now. The cat's out of the bag. You're not going to get it in. You're not going to have people not have a bunch of guns. You're not going to have, it's just going to be hard to get all these superstars, all the talent, to have them stop doing their personal brands at this point. But I get it. I have mine too, Casey.
Yeah, see how Mel's on the poster? Look at that shit.
That's so dope.
Yeah. So it's a matter of like, they want to control. And Justin, you and I deal with this with product placement on our shows. Oh, do you have the local people give you a free whatever and you just put the logo on, and then maybe it's like they give you free shovels because you're digging in a scene or something, but then next thing you know, Home Depot is a sponsor of the network or the product, and now there's a conflict.
Correct. And it happens all the time. I'm dealing with it tomorrow because I got to shoot at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And it's just like everything is product placement and paid for and this, that, and the other thing. And what sponsors can be on and what things I can bring in that don't offend the current sponsors that I have access to. It's like, yeah, I just want to blur the whole thing. Yeah. Like, let's just shoot the whole thing on a green screen and say
make it like a Japanese porn film.
Yeah.
It's just a close-up of the faces. It's like that one scene in South Park where there's this huge battle between like good and bad, and it's just you just see the faces.
Yeah.
Going, oh wow, this is insane.
What's the update?
There are only 41 Lucha Bros masks left.
And by the time you watch this, zero. Because I'm about to go buy 2 of them. Listen, so okay, explain this to me, Byron. What night of the week is Impact on?
Impact is on Tuesday.
What night of the week is AEW on? Dynamite.
Dynamite is Wednesday night.
But Dark is Tuesdays. So what night of the week is NXT going to be on and destroy somebody's dreams of making anything good happen?
NXT got preempted and tested out a Tuesday, which is something I think they were wanting to check out anyway. And there's a lot of talk that they're going to stay on Tuesday.
Do you think that's good for business if they actually leave AEW alone at this point?
I think it is. I think it happens
as well. Not for Impact.
But Impact, it sucks for Impact, or maybe it helps get people to watch wrestling on Tuesdays, and they go, "Oh, I don't like this." And then
Impact should go to Friday nights anyway on Access. Access on Friday nights was always about combat sport. They've done wrestling there, they've done Muay Thai there, they've done MMA there. Like, that's just a good night for them to do that. Like, why are they on a Tuesday anyway? Get out of the middle of the week. It's not worth it.
I don't know. I mean, yeah.
I guess because SmackDown's on Friday night now, but I mean, I think Access should still just go with Friday. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy.
I forgot when Impact moved to Tuesdays of what the deal was.
It was their access thing. I think they went to Tuesdays.
But I mean, they're owned by Access, so they can do whatever they want.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that I think that right now and for a while, NXT's kind of the winner where regardless of where it goes, they're doing things better than the other people right now, which is amazing to say because for a while that was not in fact the case. But we'll see if they can keep it running. I mean, WWE has this nasty habit of promoting too many people and kind of running that product into the ground every now and then trying to revive it. But what were you going to say, Meef? I know you're itching to say.
We now have two alleged predators on NXT, so that's all right. And they've just employed another one. So,
well, I mean, look, Vince is more mad about your Twitch than he will be about your sexually predatory nature, I think is the moral of the story there.
Yeah, I mean, I just saw a specific post that Lana was promoting Bang on her Instagram, and he was upset about that. And I totally get that, and I totally get what they're trying to do. But like,
the thing is, I can understand it in terms of the monetary thing, in terms of if they're using their WWE gimmicks. But the thing is a lot of it is stuff like where it's their normal names, stuff like that. Let's be honest, AJ Styles turning around and telling everybody he had COVID is probably more of damaging than, like, you know, some of the stuff that goes on. And I can understand if I think in her case, she kind of used her WWE stuff to promote a brand or something. So, yeah, fair enough. But like everything else, like Cameo, for instance, okay, if WWE could take control of Cameo, that's kind of better, and they can actually control it as well, what goes on, because we've all seen what kind of goes into the Cameo as well.
Well, but it's also weird because it is not unheard of for companies of all different types to have moralities clauses in their contracts, where if you work for them, you are only allowed to do certain things on social media or in public in general. Like you can't just go off and do an interview. You can't just go off and do, and if you sign the contract. Yeah.
If you work for them and not an independent contractor.
Correct.
And I think there's a lot of details that we could get into and discuss, but it all boils down to the independent contractor.
Because someone has actually posted a copy of Stephanie McMahon's contract, which obviously is slightly different though, because obviously her name is Stephanie McMahon. She is definitely the Stephanie McMahon, you know, persona, everything like that. So it's a weird example to use, but it is in there that basically saying about her real name is owned and all of her likeness. And
she's also a corporate executive too, and almost all executives have very stringent moralities clauses and public appearance clauses, and that makes a lot more sense. But like if you're just an actor, you know, if you're Benicio del Toro, when you're allowed to do lots of stuff, you just can't necessarily, you know, use your character's name from the movie that you're in. And I think wrestlers fall more into that world, but you can't stop Benicio del Toro from going on a show or doing an interview or even writing a book. You just can stop him from using his character from Usual Suspects to do it, you know?
Oh, that'd be awesome if he kept it. But
I'd go for Wolfman. I'd go for Wolfman.
I mean,
that movie sucked, but still, you're the fucking Wolfman, bro.
I remember
Ron Perlman as Hellboy.
I remember when the talent, WWE talent, would start, because everyone else started doing it after them. You'd see, like, I don't know, Sasha Banks would be named Mercedes on her Instagram or something. Mm-hmm. They started doing the shoot names, and rumors started going around. Are they about to get fired? Did they get released? Oh, no, they're just all doing that. And then everyone started doing it. It became a thing with Jim Cornette, but it also became a thing like Xavier Woods, talked about it specifically. He's working on his own personal brand, so he has another iron in the fire and has a post WWE career. And they all thought that was a loophole. And my personal opinion is, I don't think it was a loophole. I think you just had Vince McMahon who didn't know that people made money playing video games.
Right. I also think that Woods is smarter because Austin Creed isn't his real name either, so he can't own that.
Yeah, no,
I think the name thing started from a lot of the indie people did it. I can't remember why they did it, but it was like they were kicking some shit off, and then the WWE people followed and did it. There was an argument at the time, wasn't there? I remember there being an argument going on at the time.
I thought they followed, and I thought that I remember a distinct Jim Cornette argument with Jordynne Grace because Jordynne Grace used her real name, and Cornette was like, "I don't know who the fuck your kayfabe name is, let alone your real name. What are you doing?" You know, and you know, that wasn't necessarily a fair or nice thing.
Justin's
to say.
trying to make me cry on the air.
But yeah, it's
for our audio listeners. I just brought back the box of Count Chocula.
It's okay. I'm playing with Mr. T that no one else has.
At the end of the day, it boils.
Pity the fool that doesn't have some Count Chocula.
Before you can get into any of those details, it comes down to what is an independent contractor? Are they independent contractors? And if you believe that WWE talent should get health insurance and should get reasonable working conditions, vote for Biden, because then Andrew Yang said he is going to call the guy in charge and is going to be all over that shit. Vote for Biden if you respect WWE talent.
Wow. Well, that's where the thing is. I'm not being funny. What this is not. I'm not saying union. They should unionize, but still, this is where it brings in the thing of like, if they all band together and say, "Nah, mate, sorry," and they actually get proper legal advice, because you can't technically do someone's fucking legal name. You can't.
I'm here to tell you. I'm here to tell you this. Imagine every WWE performer gets together. They band together. They take on Vince, and Vince fires all of them.
True.
And just hires every indie worker out there that wants a contract back badly. You know what would happen? Ratings would go through the roof because people would be like, "Oh my God, that's ridiculous." And all of a sudden you'd have 300 new wrestling stars and Vince would still just be laughing maniacally until he dies. The only way to fix it is for Vince to die. That's sad.
And so you know, Vince's mom is like over 100 years old. Just so you know.
Could you imagine?
I think she's still alive.
If you're like, if you're a mid-card dude, because you know how just with the recent batch of releases, everyone had a hard time standing out because everyone was doing the same, like, now the chains are off promo before they go to
150 people.
Same videos. Yeah. Could you imagine if you're like a mid-card guy and the whole roster gets fired? You'd have to lower your booking rate just to get work.
That'd be amazing. That's totally what they should do. Not that I'm promoting, screwing over the wrestlers. Vince is crazy. I just don't expect it to change in any reasonable fashion anytime soon. Hey, Byron, are you even doing this show next week? Are we even doing this show next week? When do you move?
I was looking because I would definitely want to talk about
live on the plane.
So next week I'm good. The week after.
All right. So look, next week is where it all begins. You've seen the MMM show for 5 years straight now, but you have never seen the MMM show talk about the original grave consequences. You absolutely have to be here next week. And if you don't, I will talk about you worse than I talked about Juventud Guerrera today. So until next time, stay calm and stay in the mix.